I'm already like talked out. All right.
We'll get hyped back up. Solstice.
I know. Solstice. Gonna get hyped, excited to celebrate the solstice. Okay.
So Stonehenge is a part of it too. It's
Look out, something is going to get you tonight. Let's talk about the thing that's going to get you tonight. Welcome to the Happy Harvest Horror Show.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm Corrie.
And I'm Brian, and this is the Happy Harvest Horror Show, where we get together and talk about all things spooky and eerie and creepy. And this week we got a witchy topic to talk about for our summer pagan holiday festival pagans out there.
Nailed it. Yes.
Fucking nailed it.
Yes. Today is our summer solstice celebration. I'm so excited.
Yay!
Yeah, we're gonna talk summer solstice. I love just the yearly celebrations, as they are known in the Wiccan tradition, the Sabbats.
Mm-hmm.
We did a Samhain episode that was kind of history of Samhain. We also did an autumn equinox episode, which this will be a lot like that autumn equinox episode, I think. A little bit of history, some fun ideas for what you can do to celebrate the summer solstice. It's just going to be a great time. I'm jazzed. I've got like my summer colors on, got my yellow, my green, my plants. I think I bring the summer energy here. You're our winter.
I got the cool lights, cool attitude, cool vibes, Go Yule.
You are. You're Team Yule all around.
Big time.
I do love summer. I do love summer solstice. And yeah, we're gonna discuss that today. But first, as always, Brian, how spooky was your week?
It was pretty spooky. I made a trip out to New York this last week, and while I was there, I got to see at the old IFC movie theater, one of my favorite theaters because it always shows the indie, movies coming in. I saw a movie called Censor, which is set during the 80s in England. I want to say it's a period piece, but it's not. Just in the 80s in England, so it feels like it's a period piece. You know what I mean?
Well, I think technically that is a period piece.
It is a period piece, but it's
period piece means like it happened. It's set in a different. Yeah.
When I think of like period piece, though, I usually think of like
long time ago. Yeah.
Long time ago. When this was just like 40 years ago. But anyway, set during the 80s, during the video nasty craze. And, so this main character is this woman who works at a film censor, and she's the one who gives the certification for the film, whether to ban it or give it a rating. And some dark things from her past start seeping into the movies that she's watching. She has to watch a lot of really nasty stuff. Anyway, I thought it was cool. When it comes out, check it out. It's out right now on IFC. Had some really fun ideas in there. It was shot really cool. So Censor is what I saw. And I also, in preparation for this, I meant to rewatch The Wicker Man because I thought that'd be a great,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice, fun movie. Christopher Lee, burning people in a big wooden man. It's a good time. But I didn't because instead I was like, I feel more in the mood to check out all the Psycho sequels because I've never seen them. It was just impulse. I'm like, I'll put on Psycho 2 first and then I'll get to Wicker Man. And I ended up watching Psycho 2, 3, and 4 all that night.
Nice. Wow.
Psycho 2 is great.
I don't even think I realized that there were that many.
There are. And they're dynamite. Like Anthony Perkins comes back to be in all 3 sequels. It's funny, we got all these legacy sequels today, that's 20 years later, we get the original cast back, and it's so hot. But in the 80s, 83, we had Psycho 2 and Anthony Perkins came back 22 years after that. And it was like a legacy sequel. And it was such a cool, interesting movie because it was him being released on probation from the mental institution that he's been in since the events after the first movie. And everyone, including the audience, like especially me, the audience, the viewer, you're rooting for him so hard. You're like, you can do it. You can assimilate, to normal life. And,
you can do it, buddy.
You don't have to be your mother, like literally.
I love that.
But people, things and just being back in the house, and these are all triggering events that are, seeping out of consciousness. And it's just a fucking cool movie. And then there's 2, 3, and 4. Anthony Perkins actually directed 3 himself. So they're all on Peacock right now.
Look at that.
2 and 3 are, at least. I don't know. 4 was on Tubi, I think. But big recommendation, at least Psycho 2. I thought it was just a cool premise, cool, fun movie. And other than that, I don't know. I don't got much else. That was it. Yeah. How about you?
Nice.
How spooky was your week?
Nice. How spooky was my week? I watched this periodically all year round, forever. I watched over the garden wall.
Yep. Weekly viewing. It's required.
Yeah, pretty much. Of course. Love it. Holds up. Yes. It's perfect. It's perfection. That's so good.
It's like I want more, but also it's perfect.
Yeah, truly. Like, obviously I want more. I would watch a lot more, but like, it's so perfect the way it is. Like, it's just so good.
There's a bunch of comics about branching from it too.
Oh, that's fun. I should look into that.
Yeah. So that's fun.
Yeah, it could be a fun thing.
Yeah.
So I watched that as one does. And then my only other big one, I wouldn't classify it as spooky or horror. I would just classify it as just plain tragedy.
Okay.
And that's Mayor of Easttown.
Oh, I've been hearing so much about it. We haven't seen it yet.
I won't give anything away. I won't even talk too much about it, but it's just an insane web of tragedy. Yes.
Got tons tragedy.
It's just tragedy weaved into tragedy. There's the occasional comedic relief moment, but yeah, it's just ridiculous tragedy compounded by more tragedy. And that's like the whole thing. And all the twists and turns are just like adding new layers of tragic and twisted. Yeah, so I definitely, that's like thriller-ish, like kind of in the similar vein as we've been talking about in recent episodes. Sharp Objects, like in that type of vibe.
Gripping dramas.
Yes, gripping drama, tragic. Main character is a redheaded woman who is just a fucking mess, but like is powering through. Yeah. Yep. So
yeah, it's on the list. I definitely want to watch it.
Yeah. I see why people like it. I obviously like marathoned it pretty quick. It's definitely gripping. It's definitely like keeps your attention. Not a feel good situation. No. at any point, really. But yeah, I would say that was about it for me.
You mentioned tragedy. And I got my copy of there's a new special release of Lake Mungo, which is a horror movie from a few years ago. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a little horror movie that's pretty popular in the cult classic circles. This movie's so good. It's just this like small little found footage kind of movie about this family that loses their daughter. And they think they're being haunted from her spirit. So they get like a film crew to like kind of document, and in a kind of like, not Twin Peaks, cause it's not surreal, but just kind of like things start coming up and it's different things. And it's just this portrait of just such tragedy in this family that's been like really rocked by the sudden death. And oh my God, I can't recommend it enough. I don't want to tell you anything about it. I'm just saying, like there are movies out there with such small budgets that can do so fucking much. And this one, like there are scenes in it that kind of shook me to my core. It's got an ending that's an all-timer. Lake Mungo. It's rad. It's Australian too. So
All right. Awesome.
anyway, that's what when you said tragedy, I was like, oh yeah, I just got this in the mail. Fucking tragedy. Yeah.
Tragedy. All right. Well, shall we shift into some summer solstice celebration?
Yeah, but before we get into the
yeah.
fun stuff, let's take a moment to thank our rad coven of supporters. We got Julia, Jody, Erica, Wendy, Morgan, Jennifer, Jody, and Aaron. Thank you all so much for all your support. It's awesome. Rad. Thank you so much. If you'd like to join this rad coven, you can go to anchor.fm/hhhs/support. Toss us any bucks. There might be some perks coming up here pretty soon. We're thinking about doing this book club and
book club with our supporters.
And to be a part of that, we'll get some more details out soon. We're still ironing out, but we're thinking just being a member is going to get you access to that Zoom link and to kind of join in and talk about us. And that could be just even the bottom of the barrel, 99 cents. So easy peasy breezy.
Yeah. Any support helps whatsoever. Any spare change or any large amounts of cash are welcome as well. We welcome it all, and we're grateful for it all.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do, and basically support us, and we'll get some details hashed out, and
we're still working on that, but it's gonna be fun. It's exciting. A lot of spooky books out there.
There are many.
And we're also on YouTube, Happy Harvest Horror Show. Great if you like the show, sharing with your friends. You can share us on Instagram, via Spotify. You can leave us an Apple Podcast review. You can also check us out on twitch.tv/Happy Harvest every Thursday. I'm looking to do every Tuesday and Thursday here soon, but I'll be back Thursdays, spooky games. Come hang out. We got a cool group already. And it's a good time just hanging out for a Thursday night, getting spooked.
Yes.
But,
yes.
So I think we covered the bases. I think we're good. I think we're good for Solstice.
Beautiful. Wonderful. All right. Let's do it. Summer solstice. I'm having having a hard time getting comfortable because I'm all sweaty because I had to turn the air conditioning off. So, because my air conditioner is really loud. And so
so you're living the summer solstice.
I'm living the summer solstice right now. I'm living that life. Also, my pet Bun is sitting right over here, and he is just flopped. He is flopped out. Yeah, it's cute. He's so cute. But yeah, so I might be moving around a lot because I'm kind of sweaty. But it is what it is. Summer solstice, baby. That power of that sun, it'll do that. All right. So, like I said, just going to do talk about summer solstice as a general celebration, a little bit in the Wiccan tradition, a little bit of history, a little bit of ideas of some fun things you can do to celebrate this time of year.
Yeah.
The summer solstice this year happens on Sunday, the 20th. Yes, the 20th. So we will make sure that this episode goes out before that so you can, prep and enjoy the actual solstice. I think our autumn equinox went out late, and so it was kind of and
it keeps us up at night still,
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, we'll get summer solstice out here quick for you. Summer solstice. The word sol is Latin for sun. And solstice comes from solstitium, which means sun stands still.
Meaning it's the longest day. And it just sits up there.
It's the longest day of the year, the shortest night of the year. And it has been celebrated for thousands of years, likely much longer than we can even know. It is a time of just great celebration of life. Life and life energy is big right now. We've got very powerful energy coming from the sun. Things are very fertile. Things are blooming. The sun's beating down. We've got all sorts of flowers, all sorts of herbs and fruits. It's just a very life-giving time. And so It's a time to honor and give thanks to the sun for all that it does. Much like the autumn equinox, it has long been celebrated with bonfires. So
bonfires.
So summer bonfires. Who doesn't like a good summer bonfire? Dancing around bonfires. There was also a tradition of lighting two big bonfires with like a path between them.
Mhm.
And people, I believe this is a European tradition, would walk between them with their like livestock, with their cattle, with their livestock. And it was like a purification ritual.
Mhm.
Also, often taking ashes from the fires and adding them to crops.
Oh, we know
Yeah.
that from the
Yeah.
other autumnal solstice.
Yes.
Equinox,
Yes.
not solstice. Equinox.
Let's see there. Oh, this one, this one sounds hella fun. Apparently they used to set large wheels on fire and then roll them down into water.
Sounds rad.
I know. I love that.
I thought about that a lot when I read that. It was like logistically, like how do how what's going on with the wheel? How do you get the wheel on fire? You're burning yourself. You like hold it long enough, or you waiting for the whole wheel to be fully aflame?
Yeah.
'Cause you don't want to roll it too early; it might go out.
It's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. Like, was it fully inflamed, and then someone goes in with like gloves and like I don't know.
Is it like a super flammable wheel?
Yeah. I mean, I imagine it's made out of wood, but still, like, takes a while for wood to.
Takes a minute to catch, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe we should try it and find out.
And like, how big of a wheel? I'm thinking like a giant wheel.
So
but maybe it was just like a wheel on a cart.
That's like, a good point. I'm imagining, like a giant wheel. Who knows? Let us know if you know. Leave some comments down below. Also, this time, so the way it's kind of thought about, the way it has, been talked about in lore over the years, is that this time is largely about the relationship between light and dark, and this has also been read as a battle between light and dark.
Yeah.
Because what's so interesting about this time, and both of the solstices, this goes for winter solstice as well, is that it is the longest day, right? It is the longest amount of sunlight we have all year on this day, but that means we start descending after this, right? So this Sunday
again. Yeah.
Yep. This Sunday, the 20th, longest day, and then Monday we're going back down. We're descending back to darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So there is this and then obviously winter solstice is switched. So there is this battle of like dark's coming for light, and light is at its peak, but the dark is going to naturally take back over. So I'm going to talk about it mostly in the Wiccan tradition, but these things are very malleable. I think we've talked about this a little before, but basically Wicca, it's a earth-based religion. It is a form of paganism. So it's pretty safe to say Wicca, all Wiccans are pagan, but not all pagans are Wiccan, right? Wiccan is underneath paganism. It's a subset. And in the Wiccan tradition, there are 8 Sabbats that are seasonal holidays, basically, that make up the wheel of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Wiccan tradition, the summer solstice is also called Litha. Litha. I know we talked about this on the autumn equinox episode. I think we debated it a little bit. So some Wiccans in the southern hemisphere will practice the opposite, because that's what's going on seasonally in the southern hemisphere, right? Like if it's summer up here, it's winter in the southern hemisphere. However, some practice along with the northern hemisphere. So it's really a person to person kind of thing. The idea is to kind of follow the seasons, but it's really up to you how you want to work your calendar. So if you're in the southern hemisphere, take your pick. Whatever works.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah, exactly. So historically speaking, summer solstice would be celebrated for several days. There would often be like a festival, sometimes up to a week. Often people would stay up all night on Midsummer's Eve, so the night before. So that'd be staying up all night on June 19th on, Saturday. Because then you get to wake up, or you'll be up with the sunrise, kind of a thing.
Sure.
So it's like having a raucous revelry until the sunrise of the summer solstice. Some different activities you can do. Obviously, celebrating with loved ones is always a great idea. That's a go-to for all holidays, right? Whether you celebrate more earth-based holidays, whether you celebrate, Christian holidays, whatever holidays you celebrate. Holidays are often a time of just celebration with community, with people, to celebrate one thing or another. So obviously celebrating with loved ones is always a good idea, or a small group of friends, whatever.
Yeah.
If you don't want to stay up all night in revelry, you can wake up super early and watch the sunrise. It'll be way early because it's the earliest point in the year on the day of the solstice. So like you're getting up nice and early. I might do it. I might force myself to do it. I've been trying so hard to fix my sleep schedule. I'm such a natural night owl. And like right now, my like typical sleep schedule is I go to bed at like 3:30 in the morning and I wake up at like 11, like every day.
That's late.
Except do the math. It's 8 hours of sleep, like it's but it's just an annoying sleep schedule. Like I want to enjoy the morning. So I might do it. I might do it for summer solstice. I might force myself up and hopefully the sun will guide me. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'll probably be snoozing, but like
spending time outside, hanging with the trees and the plants. That is just a fantastic way to celebrate.
Get out to nature. Get back to it.
Just get back to it.
Just get back to it.
Hanging out with the trees and plants. Yeah. Going camping, I think, is a wonderful idea for summer solstice.
Try nature meditation,
yes. Sit under a tree and breathe. That's a great way.
Get in that longest day of the year energies,
Honor the summer by just hanging out with nature.
And say see ya, because we're going towards the cooler months finally.
You're such a summer hater. Oh
yeah. My solstice celebration is going to be a little mischievous. It'll be like, good riddance,
I like that. Some crafts you can do if you like making things. If you're crafty, you could make a sun catcher. So like with different like crystals, there's different things you can use that will capture the energy of the sun. And then you can use that energy in ritual. Flower crowns, classic. Great for a music festival. Great for summer solstice.
The best.
Also, oak leaf crowns, because the oak is a huge symbol for summer solstice. So it's a good way to honor the oak.
Yeah, you could also, if you want to stay up late, get the most of the day, you could host a bonfire, get honor that fiery aspect of the sun and light that bonfire. If you got some bones laying around, light them up,
Light them up. Love it.
And that's what I will probably do, because we got the fire pit that we won't always have.
You're gonna light some bones on fire.
I probably won't light any bones.
Oh, that's about
no bones around, but we're gonna light a fire, and it'll probably be a wake fire at that technically, right? Because that's there's the diff. When I was doing the research for this, I learned that the bone fire originates with bones and makes the black smoke. So you throw a little object in there too, and then there's the wake fire because you sit around it like a wake. And then there's also, if we want to talk a little bit about the We're talking about colonialism just a minute ago, but then there's the St. John's fire, where that's a mix between wood and bones. We got midsummer. Christians come in, they're like, hey, here's another day we can mark as another Christian day. So they made it St. John the Baptist's birthday, which is 6 months prior, according to the Bible, to Jesus's birthday. So, and in a biblical way, it's kind of what?
Is that what they did? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
that was
it falls on the days, just like Halloween fell All Saints Day. It's another holiday. But it's strangely in this other, these you talk about the battle and stories of there's the Oak King and the Holly King, the twins, and on Yule and Litha, they battle who's going to win, the fight over daylight.
We know who's going to win every time.
Holly's going to win. Coming in. My boy Holly, we're going to get it.
And that goes back to the oak thing. Oak being a big symbol is we know, okay, so the Oak King represents light and the Holly King represents dark. And obviously we know in this battle, in the summer solstice battle, Holly wins, right? Because we're moving back into dark. So dark wins. And so using oak as a symbol is kind of in honor of honoring the Oak King for what was given to us.
There's a lot of oak in this. Their traditions, for midsummer. Reading here, the Celtic name for oak is Duir. Duir? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Duir, which means doorway. And we are crossing this threshold, entering the doorway into the second waning part of the year. Is about it. And back to John the Baptist, it's so funny that Christian, stories were marking it in this day, but also in the Bible, St. John sees the story of him coming into the world. His role is to prepare the way for Jesus, right? In some way, I think there's a quote in there like myself lessens why he rises or something. So like,
that's good.
Which is strangely in tune with the actual traditions, the same story that his role will shrink to make way for Yule coming up, to make bigger.
I love finding the connections of basically the Christianization of paganism, that shit is so interesting and wild. So
you're like, holy shit, that's the same story.
Yeah, exactly. Love it. I mean, I don't love it because technically that was colonialism and Christianity taking over paganism, and
right.
So I don't love it, but I enjoy finding those connections for sure. It definitely makes you think about things.
Makes you kind of have a little think.
Well, think.
So that's kind of the midsummer fires, scatter around, make a good harvest. You mentioned that. People dance and leapt through the fires. It's a pretty fun revelry,
Yeah, we're having a good time.
Hurt.
We're having a good time.
If anyone's going to have your festival bonfires, just observe proper fire safety, maybe don't jump through them. I know it's fun.
In terms of activities, it's also a good time to be honoring animals. So play with your pets if you have them. A lot of animals have big energy right now. It's just a big energetic time, right? As I said, I have a pet rabbit and it's like rabbit season. So he's got the zoomies all the time and he's very alive. So spending time with animals and just observing how they relate to the energies of seasons, I think is just a fabulous practice in general. And also just a nice meditation, and, just play with your animals, enjoy them. They're a beautiful, wonderful part of nature. Some rituals, if you're into ritual magic, we're just doing more ritualized activities. Right now is just big love energy, romance, love, sexual energy. It's big right now. So it's a good time for sex magic. If that is your vibe, right now is a good time to explore it. Also, very good time for growth related rituals, right? Things are growing. We're growing. the greens are growing, the flowers are growing. So doing any ritual related to growth, personal growth, this is a really good time for it. It's a wonderful time for empowerment, particularly self-empowerment, which makes sense too, because think like sun energy, right? Like the sun is just deeply powerful. It represents a very like self-empowered energy. Even though we're not in Leo season right now, Leo is ruled by the sun, right? So I think a lot about, I kind of like meditate on Leo as a symbol. Also, I'm a Leo rising, so I kind of connect to it from that place. But Leo, sun-powered energy right now, and Leo is also a sign of like self-empowerment, courage, energetic ability in a lot of ways. So so yeah, that's just, if you're into astrology, I think that's a good sign to think about when you're thinking about sun worship, right? Because that's essentially what summer solstice is a lot of sun worship. Also a good time to do a release ritual. The most simple release ritual that, I think I've been doing for a long time, I feel like I've been doing since I was like a teenager, is you write down the thing that you want to release. You write down things that no longer serve you. And then you can burn the paper, you can dissolve it, you can bury it. There are lots of different ways to ritualize that release. I would, if I was doing a release ritual right now, I would burn, because obviously fire energy. Throw it in the bonfire. Exactly.
Ceremony, when you're all hitting around, just get out your paper, throw it on in there.
Yeah, exactly. Because, the sun made a fire. So we are literally worshiping fire right now. So I think definitely a good time to do the fire version of that release ritual personally. But, do what you want. I'm not your boss.
Be your own boss.
Symbols. Already talked about most of these. The sun, obviously. Fire. Yes. Oak trees, oak leaves.
Yep.
Colors, really just all the big vibrant ones. Yellow, green, orange, red, like big vibrant colors. Blue for the sky. Some deities, if you're into worshiping deities in your practice. Solar deities, as I mentioned, the Oak King in pagan tradition. Midsummer's Day is a battle between the Oak King and the Holly King. So we want to honor the Oak King, pray to the Oak King for all that he has done. Also, a good time to worship the Mother Goddess. So the Mother Goddess changes based on, what you practice, but it'd be like the Roman goddess Juno is a mother goddess, right? So the Mother Goddess, because this is also, it's just a huge time for fertility in so many ways.
With fertility, you got flowers everywhere. You got bees making honey, you got fertility within relationships too. There was I learned the practice of hand fasting. Have you known about this? It is a Celtic tradition going back 7,000 BC. That is when people decide to be to make a union between two loving people. They would tie their hands together to mark that they are one. They would just basically tie braided ribbon or cloth around their hands. So like with their holding hands, they tie a little knot around it. Yeah, hand fasting. Yeah. So so if you're gonna get married, throw it in there. Why not? They've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, there you go. Like it. Herbal and floral stuff. You have pretty much endless options right now. It's a very abundant time for all sorts of herbs, flowers, fruits, and pretty much with all like Wiccan tradition and like pagan tradition is, when thinking about herbs and flowers and things you want to use in ritual, just like whatever is like abundant and blossoming at the time is always a good idea. And right now there's lots of stuff. So oak leaves, rose, mugwort, honeysuckle, rosemary, berries, luscious fruits, really anything that is blooming and in abundance right now. Floral incenses, sandalwood. And that also goes for like if you're using like essential oils, right? Using like
love sandalwood.
Like rose
stuff.
hips essential oils is really good. Rose essential oil, those guys. Yeah, rose is big. That was actually one that I read. So this is a book I've talked about it on the podcast before, and I do recommend it. It's not Wicca based. It is. I bought it in Salem when we were on our Salem trip. Here it is. It's Walking the Tides, Seasonal Magical Rhythms and Lore. And it is based in specifically like England, I believe. So he gets really in depth in terms of like flowers and things that are native to where he's from, which is very cool. But yeah, it's not Wiccan because it doesn't follow like all of the Sabbats or anything, but it does basically just go through the year, and you have the summer tide, the autumn tide, the winter tide, the spring tide, and those are broken down into months. And so it's more of just kind of flowing through the year and looking at different just ideas for like earth-based rituals and stuff. And he talks a lot about rose. Rose is a big one. And he talks a lot about elderflower. He brings up actually making elderflower wine or elderflower champagne, which sounds so fun.
I saw that. I saw a recipe for it too.
Yeah. And this is a luscious, thick wine and is known as the witch's wine.
Heyo.
Yeah, so I am very much into this. I've never made wine before, but like I kind of want to check it out. Seems very interesting. So yeah, elderflower, rose, bees, honey. Honey is huge right now. Yeah. So in terms of if you want to do like a summer solstice feast type thing or lunch or whatever, honey and fruits, like make a glorious fruit salad. I saw someone on YouTube, they did a really cute summer solstice video and they made like a beautiful fruit salad in the shape of a sun.
Nice.
And I thought that was really nice. So
that sounds nice.
Yeah. So those are all things you can do. And all of those things we mentioned are also pretty much all great things you can use to decorate your altar if you want to do an altar for summer solstice. And yeah, Wiccan altars, just a great place to do rituals and pray and give thanks, all that good stuff. So all of that.
Love it.
Lots of different things you can do. As we've mentioned before, Wicca is a very free practice in a lot of ways. I mean, some people are very strict about it, but in general, the concept and what is accepted among a lot of Wiccans is that it's non-dogmatic, right? So like, it's like, these are the general ideas, do what feels right to you. And also, like don't harm people in the process. That's always important. Don't do it. But yeah. Also, like full disclosure, I don't fully identify as a Wiccan. I dip in and out. I have practiced some Wiccan stuff. I like some things about Wicca. I'm a little more comfortable with the term pagan because that just feels like a very like all-encompassing, like earth-based.
Yeah, and I was wondering that too, because Litha, is that a Wicca term for the time of the year with the solar quarters, right?
Yeah, that's the name of the Wiccan Sabbath.
Okay, because the term also midsummer is that more of a pagan, I guess, a more vague term?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think that's more of a like, yeah. Litha is the Sabbath term. So it's like specifically.
There's like the Wiccan 4-quarter solar periods, right? And the Litha is one of them. And then you also have your, Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I
And they're
did
all
some research.
You did, and they're all on the wheel of the year. And they're all great. Like, yeah, like I say that as like I just avoid being identified as anything. That's just like my vibe. I just don't like to be
Stop it.
identified as anything. But I dig Wicca. Everything I read on it and stuff I very much resonate with. So like I'm all about that.
And I'm all about the Holly King coming in. Coming in and showing this oak dude what's what. Bring us back, you know.
Team Yule. Brian is Team Yule.
Team Yule.
I mean, I'm typically Team Summer, but like I said, I'm like sweating a lot right now and I'm kind of uncomfortable, but that's okay. Okay. So last little bit wanted to talk about, very excited to talk about this, which I think is another very big kind of important piece of the summer solstice tradition.
Yep.
In a weird way, in a very weird way, actually, is Stonehenge. Stonehenge. Everyone's favorite megalithic mystery, the Stonehenge. Yeah. It's so good.
It's great. Big fan of Stonehenge over here. You know what I mean? But even not just Stonehenge, there are thousands of these stone circles across the globe that are all kind of, we don't know what. People are like, this is what Stonehenge is about. Like, it's still,
nobody knows.
But
yeah, there are theories abound about Stonehenge. Check out the Art History Babes podcast episode, all about it.
Okay, check them out. And but as far as the purpose of the stone circles, we can probably connect them to like agricultural events, because there's like the summer solstice that we're talking about right now. It's an agricultural midpoint event of the year. A lot of these stone circles were aligned with the sun and the moon, and they form, sometimes complex prehistoric calendars, which was pretty crazy that they, early civilizations had like the geometry and the engineering, not geometry. Yeah. The geometry and the engineering, and then the astronomy and all the knowledge to actually pull this shit off. It's like, wow. Aliens? Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know.
That's what ancient aliens would have you believe.
Can I take a quick sidebar real quick?
Sure.
While we're on the topic of ancient aliens.
Yes.
I was just reading this book the other day, and it was just like, it's all about the pyramids, right? And just like the marveling at how they even pulled that shit off, because I was reading some research that, my God, it would have had to take hundreds of years if they were to do it on schedule, but not even just that. I get that it would take a long time. I get that each block was like a few tons, and I get all that it would take, how do they get them from here to there, all of that. That's like big question mark. The thing that really blows my mind is the precision of each block, because basically when making that, once they planted the block, they couldn't like correct it. In there. It's a big heavy block. They put it in there. And each of the blocks had like such precision that you couldn't fit a playing card in there. And that was just like, when I read that fact, I kind of got goofed for a night. I'm like, you're right. How the hell they make these pyramids?
You're going down the ancient aliens rabbit hole.
And I don't want to, but like, there's like, you're watching a true crime thing. There's just like that one episode where they bring up one thing and you're like, this is gonna fucking haunt me, And,
I'm honestly, when it comes to ancient aliens theory, I'm in the space of, when you really look deep at like that show and like where a lot of ancient aliens theory comes from, like you have to be aware of the fact that like a lot of it is kind of steeped in racism, and it's just like super problematic, and it's like errors in perception kind of thing. That being said, I also I don't think we know shit about anything, so I'm also like open to the possibility that some things could be aliens, you know what I mean?
And I'm not even coming at from a
I also think defaulting to aliens when we don't fully understand something from the past is not great either. Like
exactly. And like I said, I'm not even coming from an ancient alien standpoint. It's just funny that we brought it up and I'm connecting it to the pyramids. But just like, I got it from a book I found the other day that just had like just a bunch of fun, almanac of facts around, and it brought up because each of the block weighed up to 15 tons. That's a fucking heavy block.
That
you
is a
know, and
heavy
for them
rock.
to place it, yeah, I don't know, it's wild. So there was just of that book, they said just there's no man-powered known way that they could have had such precision on that, and that's the one key that I'm like,
I'm holding on to that nugget.
it's such a shame we lost that big old library in Alexandria, huh? You know,
Very
I
true.
bet there was
Very
some
true.
directions in there. I bet there was
There had to be something in there. Like
some
there
sort of
had to
chart
be
where we look at it and
something.
go, no shit, that's
Yeah.
that's awesome.
What if, like, I mean, it's so hard to know, but yeah, what if literally all of those answers were there? Like
I said, it's gonna keep you up at night. Now that brings us back to Stonehenge.
Stonehenge.
We don't know.
Yes. So there are
But-
theories abound about Stonehenge, and that's why we love it. Like, who doesn't love a good mystery? Like, I'm all about embracing the mysterious for sure. But yes, one of the main theories is that it is used, possibly for ritual purposes. And this goes back to summer solstice, because if you look at Stonehenge, I mean, there's endless pictures on the internet, but Stonehenge, several of the main kind of megalithic figures are like post and lintel construction. So like boom, boom, you know, you got the two
Yep.
and then the top. And when the sun comes up on summer solstice, that morning of summer solstice, right in the middle, there's what is known as the heel stone, and it ends up right between on that like post and lintel. So it just like it's like right there, like right in that perfect spot on summer solstice. It seems very intentional. And
very much aligned with the, astrological.
Exactly.
events.
So whether that was its main purpose or just an additional purpose, because there's also theories that it was like a marketplace. Like there's so many different ways of looking at it. But summer solstice coming straight through Stonehenge. So every year there is a huge summer solstice celebration at Stonehenge. It looks wild. It looks like a super fun time. I actually watched the live stream of it last year, which was really cool, actually, because like we were in a prime lockdown for summer solstice of last year. And it was cool to get to kind of celebrate and see Stonehenge on the summer solstice. But unfortunately, I guess they're not going to be able to have the live event this year either due to COVID restrictions. Yeah.
No.
They're just, they thought they were going to be able to, and then there was some restriction that came through. So they're not going to be able to do the live event, like the in-person event this year. But it will be live streamed again. So summer solstice Stonehenge, like check it out. There's a link on like the main Stonehenge page. I thought it was super fun. I turned out like I remember I like watched it. I turned on some like trippy like electro music, and Bun was out. He was wild. He was wild on summer solstice night. He was like running circles, and we were like watching.
You know what was up?
We were watching the sun come up at Stonehenge. So it was really fun. I recommend it. I'm definitely going to check it out again. I would love to go to the in-person celebration someday. I feel like that would be so fun to actually do summer solstice at Stonehenge.
Sure. Yeah.
I
Sounds
think
like a good time.
Yeah, I think it would be cool and trippy, and who knows, maybe I feel like that would be a good place if there is a place to get abducted by aliens. I feel like that might be a good like starting place. Like,
Any more on just traditions or what they can do, or?
I don't think so. I felt like I gave you a lot.
I think you did.
I felt like I gave you a lot.
And if you want to watch some like pagan ritual inspired movies during this time, there's some fun ones out there. We got The Wicker Man. It happens during the May Day, celebration in the Summer Isle, northern England. And this devout conservative Christian goes up there to look for a missing girl, and he learns things along the way. Wicker Man, big fan. Midsummer is hot. That came out a few years ago. whole lot of overlap what we're talking about. Fertility rituals, hot summer heat, flowers,
Flower crowns.
flower crowns, purging, with fire, there's a lot. It's all in there. It's everything.
It's all in there. Yeah.
So yeah. I'm trying to think of any other movies that deal with midsummer. There's a Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah.
Not very spooky, but hey, fae folk get involved. We always love it.
It's the vibe. It's definitely the energy for sure.
Yeah. I'd love to see like a really spooky Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. I feel like that's very doable.
Bottom with his like really scary donkey head,
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a scary character. If you want it to be a scary character.
That's some like body horror right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Waking up with a donkey head. I say no thanks.
Summer solstice. I hope you all got something out of that conversation about it. Maybe some ideas.
Topic.
Some ideas of how you can celebrate. I'm definitely going to celebrate. Like I said, maybe I'll get up. Maybe I'll get up with the sun. I'm giving all of June 20th to the sun. That is my plan. So, it's
good
also
plan.
That's it's on Sunday this year. That's cute. Sunday is
Sunday.
The day of the sun. Yeah. That's cute. That's cute.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So let us know. Let us know if you're celebrating. Let us know how you like to celebrate. If you have certain traditions. I think that's a fun thing is like the more, because I'm trying to with as I'm at this place in my adulthood, I'm like really feeling the value of ritual basically and like spiritual practice and spiritual ritual in like an organized way. And so I'm gradually trying to get better about like really creating traditions for these days. You know what I mean? Like really creating like things that I do for summer solstice, for autumn equinox, all of that. And like just like any holiday, just like how every family has different traditions for Christmas, right? Like this is super customizable. Like it's really wonderful, I think, to create your own traditions to celebrate these kind of milestones throughout the year. They keep us grounded. They keep us held to the earth. They keep us here and appreciative of the natural cycles of things. So I'm finding a lot more value in that and trying to create my own. And if that speaks to you, I encourage you all to do the same. So
yeah. Hell yeah. Go Holly.
And
Holly King.
I was gonna say, and meanwhile, Brian will just be waiting for when it gets cold again.
You will. But I mean, we're like 130 some days to Halloween. Guys, get your house in order. We get them out. All your spooky stuff, if it's not already, we're coming in hot. Halloween 2021. It's going to be big. I feel like people speaking for me personally, I'm ready to go fucking nuts. I'm going to do the haunts.
I like this. Fuck hot girl summer. We're going straight. Get
that PSL in Starbucks now. Give it to me. Promotion. I need it now. So,
well, lucky for you, only a few more days and we start the decline. So, but until then, I am going to soak up the sun's infinite powers and energy so that I may manifest in the material world.
And I'm going to enjoy that bonfire.
I'm jealous. I want a bonfire. I want to have a bonfire.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a nice little perk of living out here for the time being. Thanks for listening in. It's fun topic. If you got another spooky topic that you'd like us to hit us up at, Happy Harvest Horror Show at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, like we heard from Melanie this last week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she wrote in and commiserated over rock and roll mass from our Catholic episode. Apparently, we all went through it. It's funny to connect on such a level, with.
Those experiences for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, you can hit us up. Happy Harvest Horror Show at gmail.com. You can reach us on, we're on YouTube, like I said, book club coming, and we got, Twitch every Thursday. Happy Harvest, twitch.tv, Happy Harvest. So yeah, this is fun episode. Good times.
Summer solstice.
And we'll see you soon. We'll see you on the flip side.
Yeah, we'll see ya when we see ya.
Next time we talk, we will be on that decline to the spooky months. Here we go.
That sweet decline towards Halloween.
It's going to be get out those sweaters because it's going to get cooler. Oh, I'm stoked.
You still got a while, man. You still got to get through July and August.
I'm going to sweat through it. I'm like, no. I don't wait for the weather,
Yeah, true. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Happy summer solstice. Enjoy. We love you all, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.